Hi everyone, Sensei Ken here. It's time for me to tell you a little bit about myself, things I've done, my experiences I've had, and everything that has led to me being where I am today. I was born in 1959 in the northeast of England and was brought up in a little village called Medhamsley near Consett, County Durham. As a child, my best and first friend was a black Labrador called Alex, and that will become significant later on in my life. My first experience of martial arts was judo, which I did at what was then secondary school. But I was fascinated and really captured by the Bruce Lee movies, which were coming out at the time, and I really wanted to try a striking art. So in the nearest little town to my village was Consett, had a sports centre. They opened karate classes there run by a man called Gordon Ward. So I went along there. I trained almost every day, and not long before starting training, Gordon introduced me to his teacher, Walter Seaton, and I was awarded my first degree black belt. So that was my first kind of real experience with martial arts. My ambition, however, when I was at school was I always wanted to join the Royal Air Force. My father, he served on Bomber Command during World War II as aircrew, and regaled by his tales, I really wanted to be aircrew myself. In fact, I wanted to be a pilot. So to help me along the way, I joined the local Air Training Corps based in Consett, and I kind of progressed through there. I did my private pilot's license at age 17, so I could fly an aeroplane before I could drive a car, which is interesting. And then eventually, after passing some really stringent aircrew selection tests, in 1977, I left home to go to Royal Air Force Henlow, which was the Officer Cadet Training Unit. This was a tough course. It's designed for you to fail because they want to sort the wheat from the chaff. And given my tender age at that time, I did struggle with it. And first time round, I didn't make it. But I was offered a recourse, which I took, and second time round, I passed. Having passed that, I was shipped off to Royal Air Force Linton on Ouse to do my basic flying training on an aeroplane called the Jet Provost. And that's where I started my first classes as a teacher. I started karate classes and would often invite Walter Seaton and his team of black belts down to Linton on Ouse to train and to teach my students. And it was at this point that Walter selected me for the England under-21 squad for home internationals. His faith in me was wonderful because actually I really wasn't that good. I lost more fights than I won, but it was great to have been selected anyway, and that was a good experience. On completion of basic flying training, I went off to do advanced flying training. That was at RAF Valley, and that was in April '79, flying the fast jet, the Hawk. Again, another tough course. I didn't really make it first time, and having failed fast jet training, which I was absolutely gutted, I was sent off to RAF Finningley in Doncaster to begin training on an airplane called the Jetstream, which would prepare me to fly what we called then heavies. In other words, transport airplane, anti-submarine warfare, that kind of thing, which is not really what I wanted, but at least I was still going to be a pilot. I did really well on that course, and therefore I was given my choice as to the airplane I went on to next. And I chose to go to the very old, outdated Canberra bomber. Now, the reason I chose that was because being a twin-engine jet, that was a route back to fast jet, which is what I wanted. I had this ambition, I wasn't going to let go. And that is some good advice. If you have an ambition, never let go. Always strive for that ambition. So, having selected the Canberra, the operational conversion unit for that was at RAF Whitton. So off I went there. And it was at this time that I decided that I really wasn't going to run another karate class. I thought I'd look around, see what there was in the local area. And I found a Lao Gar Kung Fu school. The man that ran that was called Alex Barrowman. He was a great teacher. It was a great school. I really enjoyed that. It was competition based. And as such, I got to meet some really interesting people. So that was a really good experience for me. Didn't quite make Black Sash, as it was called, before I left, but it was good training nonetheless. So Having done the operational conversion unit, went on to RF Witten, as I've said. I served 6 years there on the Canberra, and the roles the Canberra was used in was anything from photographic reconnaissance to target facilities, electronic warfare. Now, the target facilities was interesting because a couple of things we would do. We would tow an air-to-air target on a long cable, and we would fly in a circle, and then fighters would tip in behind us and fire the live gun at the target I was towing. For the surface-to-air missile Rapier units, we would tow a target on a cable that was 5 miles long, and they would fire Rapier missiles at us, which was very interesting. So that was my time on Canberras. I did okay on Canberras, did pretty good, and I applied for a crossover, which was my strategy all along. I wanted to get back in the fast jet route. And so let me see, well, I've got some notes here. And so I was transferred to Royal Air Force Chivener, and this was really quite significant, which is based in RAF, RF Chivener based in Devon. And this is where I met Sensei Stratton in Aikido. Initially, my role at Chivener was to be a simulator instructor with a view to seeing how I got on and then putting me on the tactical weapons training unit and then send me off to a fast jet squadron of some kind. So, RAF Chivener met Sensei Stratton, once again, trained every single day. Within 13 months, I'll be honest with you, when I started training Aikido, I didn't really like it. I really enjoyed the striking arts. I liked the competition. I enjoyed the full contact stuff with Lau Gar. But in Sensei Stratton, I recognized a really special man. And I thought, I need to stick with this fella. And I'm so pleased that I did. 13 months later, I was given my black belt in Shudokan Aikido, which was the time at which I was having been selected to do the tactical weapons unit. I did that, I completed it. I did really well in the air-to-air gunnery and air-to-air kind of scenarios. And so they sent me off to be a fighter pilot, which is exactly what I wanted, to fly what was then the latest fighter in the Royal Air Force Infantry, the Tornado F3, which was not a great airplane, to be fair, for its role, but it was great. I loved it. It was exactly what I wanted. So off I went to Royal Air Force Leaming. So at RAF Leaming, I started an Aikido school and continued to progress through the ranks. And that was in March 88, I left for Leaming. Let me see. Highlights, my Royal Air Force highlights. I got to fly on operations in Saudi Arabia, and on Operation Desert Shield, Bosnia, Operation Deny Flight, and my best training experience in the Royal Air Force was the NATO International Tactical Leadership Program, which very, very loosely, and I mean really, really loosely, is based on the kind of Top Gun thing. But if you are that interested, if you Google TLP, you can find out all about it there. So I left the Royal Air Force in 1997, and I went into retail to work as the head of retail for a large international retail chain that was based in Nottingham. So obviously that's why I ended up in Nottingham. Now, prior to me arriving at Nottingham, one of my students from RAF Leaming, a man called Chris Mitchell, he went to attend university at Nottingham. So he got there before me. So he started up an Aikido club for me, so I could just walk in, which was really good of him, very nice. So that's the roots of the Shudokan Black Belt Academy. It started as an Aikido club at the ICC, International Community Centre on Mansfield Road. In March the 9th, 2000, my Aikido instructor, someone I really respected, on like a second father to me, Sensei Stratton, he passed away. And he left the Shudokan in the hands of Sensei John Russell and myself. Now, Sensei John Russell, being quite my senior by some years, before long kind of stepped away. He took the role of the president of the association and left me kind of with the reins of the Shudokan Black Belt Academy, or the Shudokan Institute of Aikido, rather. I kind of felt that I needed a bit of guidance, and I looked around. I made contact with Tambu Sensei in Melbourne, Australia, who was a great man, and he taught me so much. I went to visit him, and he introduced me to Mustard Sensei, again, another great teacher who had an awful lot of knowledge to pass on to me, which helped the Shudakan be what it is today. So the Shudakan continued to grow and become stronger, and within 10 years of starting the SBBA, Shudakan Black Belt Academy, in the year 2000, we became one of the largest pure Aikido schools in the world, which is quite good, quite significant. So we continued to, with our Aikido, I continued to progress through the ranks, eventually getting to 7th degree black belt, which I am now, which was awarded by Sensei John Russell, with Mustard Sensei reading out the citation. About 10 years ago, my wife Jo and I, we decided we'd quite like a dog, hence the mention of Alex in my childhood. And we ended up with a beautiful German Shepherd Rottweiler rescue called Roxy. And she really led us down a different road. Jo and I, to cut a long story short, got into rescuing German Shepherds. We acquired Roxy in October 2010. And since then, we've rescued, adopted, or we have fostered 17 German Shepherds. And if you want to meet my current pack, it's on the Meet the Pack video, which you'll see on the website. I wrote a book about my experiences in rescue. The book is called Tales of Shepherds, and it's available on Amazon, but all proceeds from this book go to support Central German Shepherd Rescue. So if you're interested in the book and you buy it from a German publishing company called Tradition, that's Tredition, then more funds will go into rescue, and the rescue needs the funds at the moment. I have 4 children. My eldest son is an inspector in the police force. My second eldest son is a Chinook helicopter pilot in the Royal Air Force. So that's 3 generations of Royal Air Force, which is great. My youngest son is a published author and publisher, and my daughter is a nurse in the NHS right now. So this is where we are today. I'm very proud of what we've achieved with the Shudakan Black Belt Academy, with our dojo. I've traveled the world, I've seen a lot of places, trained a lot of places, and I'm really pleased with what we have. I have an excellent team, the best, and I have a wonderful wife that's been incredibly supportive and often been a great inspiration to me. So that's me, my journey, and me and Aikido. Thank you.